Hey, I am from Zombie World. Today I am showing you a zombie makeup tutorial. Enjoy it.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So the guys behind the new film A Scout's Guide to a Zombie Apocalypse that comes out in November have asked me to create this zombie inspired makeup tutorial. I have included a clip at the very end of the tutorial so you can see where the inspiration come from. I purchased Stuart Bray's flat mould for these zombie pieces, and I will include a link to those in the description bar of the video. So I have two brow pieces and a mouth piece all made from gelatin. I've cleansed Jack's skin with a mild astringent so that removes any oils. And now I'm using Pros-Aide on a small cosmetic sponge just to flatten back Jack's eyebrows. This is something we always do when applying prosthetics to the forehead so that the piece can lay completely flat against the skin. When applying the Pros-Aide, you can either dust around the piece on the face so you get an outline of where you need to glue, or you can just line it up, pull the piece back and glue in that area. That's what I always do. Now you need to apply the Pros-Aide to the face as well as the piece, and leave it to go completely clear before adhering it to the face. Now this glue is very tacky, so you can place it on the face but don't press it down until you're happy with your placement. If you're not happy, pull it off and readjust it. Once you are happy with the placement, press it from the centre and work your way out to the edges. Now as this is quite a long tutorial, I don't want to go into too much depth about applying these pieces. Instead what I will do is link Stuart Bray's video in the description bar because he has a more in-depth tutorial on applying pieces. Once you're happy and you've glued down all your edges with the Pros-Aide, we're going to use a cotton tip dipped in some witch hazel to blend away the gelatine edges. You can spend a little bit more time than I did here really flattening your edges with the glue to begin with. I've had 3 people to get through, so I was on a bit of a time limit with this, but it didn't matter because when I started rolling away all the edges, they blended into the skin absolutely fine. This rolling motion is going to cause the gelatin to lay absolutely flat against the skin and melt away from the piece. I'm now repeating the same process that we've just done with the mouthpiece, but this time with the eyebrow piece. So I've applied the Pros-Aide to the skin as well as the prosthetic, allowed them both to dry clear, and then I've pressed it into place. Then same as before, I'm going in with the cotton bud dipped in a little bit of the witch hazel, and I'm working my way around all the edges. This can take a little bit of time, but just be persistent with it. I'm taking Illamasqua's Skin Based Foundation in a slightly lighter shade than Jack, and I'm applying that all over the prosthetics and Jack's skin, also down his neck and over his ears. This is a medium to full coverage foundation. You will want something that's got a little bit of coverage to it. You can see once you start to apply the foundation over the entire face, it all starts to look a lot more seamless. And this is great, especially if your pieces are coloured slightly different. So this is how it looks once the foundation is on. I have left the inside of the mouthpiece. For the majority of this zombie look, I'm going to be using this Toby Sells FX Art palette, and this one is the Post-Mortem palette. To start off with, I'm using Primer Greg and Afterlife, which is a grey and a brown shade mixed together, and I'm going to use this to darken the sockets of the eyes, all the sunken areas around the prosthetics. Now this is an alcohol activated paint. The reason I like to use these is because they're waterproof, but also because you can get just a wash of colour. So I like to apply it with the damp brush first and then go over it with the dry brush just to blend it in. I'm also working that colour around the brow area and up onto the top of the forehead, and this is going to help us to achieve that sunken, ill zombie look. Next I'm taking this deep maroony red grease paint from my burn wheel, and I'm applying that underneath Jack's eyes. This is going to create an infected, sore looking eye. As an alternative you can use a red eyeshadow. Next I'm creating the look of mottled skin, so I'm going back to my Post-Mortem palette and I'm doing different washes of colours. I'm using a medium sized paintbrush to do this, and I'm flicking layers of yellows and browns, then a slight greeny appearance, and then brown mixed with yellow, and I'm just layering different colours just to get that mottled appearance. Don't forget to flick this down the neck and over the ears. Out of that same palette I'm mixing the black and the grey together. On an eyeliner brush I'm applying this to the edging of the mouthpiece, and this is going to make the skin look like it's rotted and as though the blood that was there has turned grey. As the alcoholic paints can be quite fumey around the eyes, I've decided to go in with a darker brown eyeshadow, and I'm applying this around the whole sockets of the eyes and also a little bit down the sides of the cheeks. Now to enhance the mottled appearance to the skin, I'm going in with a small brush and I'm applying the lightest shade in my palette in dots. And as I apply the dots, I'm going over it with my finger to blend it in, a little bit like doing freckles, but in different layers of colours. So now I'm going in with the dark brown mixed with a tiny bit of black and the grey. This is where you're really starting to get that dead look to the skin. Working on my mouthpiece, I'm going into my Flesh Tone Skin Illustrator palette and I'm applying a layer of the pink to where the gum line is. Again, even with this piece I like to layer the colours, so I go in with some pink before I go in with some red. I'm applying a small amount of the Dead Blood shade from my Postmortem palette to the outer side of the lips. For the teeth I'm going in with the Postmortem colour, which is slightly lighter and it's going to give us that bony appearance to the teeth first. Then we're going to go in with a little bit of black and apply this around the gum and the bottom half of the teeth to give it that decaying look. Then I'm going back over the gums with the Dead Blood colour again from my Postmortem palette. Around the outside of this mouthpiece I'm applying a little bit more of that grey colour called Afterlife. And this is just going to enhance that decaying skin around this mouthpiece. One of the key features on the zombies in the Scout's Guide to a Zombie Apocalypse when I went to see it was the veins. So I decided to use my Postmortem palette and mix some of the Aged Vein and Envy together to create different colour veins. So I'm using a fine liner brush just to do some wiggles onto the skin and then again patting them out with my finger so they look like they're underneath the skin. But you want them to be very prominent, so don't be shy in applying these up the neck, on the face, around the nose. You also want to repeat all this to your hands and the back of your neck if you're going out. I'm adding a small amount of wound filler just to the inside of this mouthpiece and then I'm using my finger to pat it around the mouthpiece so it looks like it's just dried on blood. If you want your zombie to look like he's been out eating people, then you can go to town with the blood around the mouth. So to finish off the face I'm just darkening the eyes and just making them a little bit more red. And then to complete the entire look I'm using some glycerine rubbed into Jack's hair. Now zombies always tend to have that greasy looking hair and I don't imagine they sweat because they are dead, but if they do then this is why their hair's really disgusting, it's not been washed, and this is going to give us that look. And what's also great about this product is it will stay like this the entire night. So this is my A Scout's Guide to a Zombie Apocalypse inspired zombie, and to
Please subscribe for more videos.